If you like sweets, candies, and soda, this Coca-Cola fragrance is definitely for you. Hello, welcome back to Seldomly Often. I'm Daniel, today we're talking fragrances and this is a practical review of Mancera Tonka Cola. These reviews are for fragrances that have a lot of experiences, multiple wears and many situations that are meant to give you a practical general idea of what it feels to wear them. As per usual, I do a lot of research before buying any fragrance, but I won't be going into much detail about notes and accords. I think that the general user doesn't really benefit from this and rather go for more of a vibe feeling. Alright, so Mancera Tonka Cola. Let's start with the presentation. In my previous video I talked about Amore Caffè. I talked a little bit about Mancera. Not to repeat myself completely, but I want to really say that Mancera is a fantastic brand. I think they offer great value for money. They are known for their longevity, projection, in general good quality. They are an entry to the niche world, if we want to call it that. Again, niche versus designers, I covered that in the previous video. In general, I think that Mancera lacks a little bit of brand identity, just kind of like the general theme going on. They don't really have a theme. There's no like personality behind the brand. They kind of like just throwing everything at the wall to see what sticks. They do offer too many fragrances in my opinion. Too many, and the fragrances in general are just really hard to identify. It's really hard to tell which fragrances smells like what. So this basically has a consequence that users stick to the known fragrances, the more famous ones. So everyone goes for Cederat, everyone goes for Red Tobacco, everyone goes for Amore Caffè, etc. So yeah, if they would work on their brand a little bit more, I think they would be a lot more successful and their perceived value would go up a lot. Because again, a lot of people are a bit snobby about Mancera and Montal, their sister brand, just because they're all over the place. It feels like a clone brand at times. So, and that's kind of sad because I think they're pretty good. Back to Tonka Cola. As you can see, this is a 60 ml bottles. Mancera offers 60 mls and 120 mls. As I mentioned in my previous video, I have two Manceras right now, Tonka Cola and Amore Caffè, and I went both for the 60 mls. I just feel that the 120 ml bottle is just too freaking big. And I'll never get through it. In particular, because these are very specific scents with a relatively limited use case. And I also think that the little bottles just look better. The Mancera bottles are generally good quality. They feel like pretty heavy glass, not super thick. The cap is magnetic on the newer bottles. Strong magnet, by the way. The sprayer is exceptionally good. I said on another video that they're one of the best sprayers on the market. I think that very few companies have this good of a sprayer. And to be honest, like why? Why not? I mean, how expensive is this thing? Let's give it a spritz. Absolutely beautiful. It's broad, it's pressurized, and I really feel that fragrances really benefit from a good atomizer. It's like when you get samples in the dab format, it doesn't even smell like the fragrance because the fragrance doesn't have enough time to like air up. I don't know, there's something going on about a good atomizer that really helps projection, and it really helps like the top notes to come out. So I mean, more fragrance brands should go with something like this. I think it's super valuable. And all the brands that I see that have a good atomizer generally have good projection. Is it a coincidence? Maybe, maybe not. I mentioned that Mancera bottles are okay. The packaging is forgettable. I can't even remember what the box looks like. They all come in this like leatherette pouch, which is super ugly, completely useless, and it's a waste of money. So why? The labeling is completely all over the place. Some Manceras have like the big label, some have the small label, some have the white label. It's just kind of like, what are you guys doing, you know? Just like rebrand everything, just take a stance and decide what to do. Also, like the new intense versions, they're basically like indistinguishable like visually from the other ones. And intense doesn't even really reflect intense because apparently both of them, Cederat and Red Tobacco, are even more intense. They're just like extracts. So why? It's just like the branding feels like it's really badly thought. Back to this again, the bottle's okay, works well, it's functional. The Mancera is, I would say that they're a functional brand, and they are for the people that want function, they want a purposeful scent. Going on purpose, talking about purpose, we have to talk about the scent profile. So what is Tonka Cola? Tonka Cola, I mentioned in the intro, basically it's a Coca-Cola scent, or it wants to be a Coca-Cola scent. Let me just get it out of the way. This scent is like stupid sweet. It's like sweet all over. To me, it's a little too much. It's a little cloying. I find this a little bit of a fatiguing flavor. But the opening, I think, is the best part, and it's where the scent is a little bit more complex in a way. So the opening is where you get the cola vibes. You get this citruses, you get like an orange peel, maybe an orange blossom, maybe some citruses like a lemon, and it's not fresh because it's a very dense scent, but it's sparkly, it's fizzy, it's really fun. And in the cola accord, specifically in the beginning, when there's a citrus, it's really, I wouldn't say super realistic, because it feels like one of those like cheap knockoffs sodas. You know how Coca-Cola is sweet, but it's not like overly sweet. And when you buy a knockoff, they kind of like, they don't really know how to balance the sugariness. So they're like just too sweet. And this kind of is like that. This smells like a flat, meaning not as fizzy, knockoff Coca-Cola. It's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just that it's really difficult to make Coca-Cola, I guess. But it's good. I like it. It's the opening is very fun, and it really wows people because, again, a Coca-Cola scent is kind of unusual, and it's a party trick. It's a people pleaser, and it's really great. I don't really get a lot of the cherry. In the notes, there's cherry. And I really wanted cherry in this. I love cherry. I love cherry Coke. And everyone was like, this is like a cherry Coke. I don't really get much of the cherry. To me, it's more like citruses. I get a lot of lemon. I get a lot of like orange. And I don't get cherry at any stage of this, really. So I don't know, your mileage may vary, but to me it's more like, again, the imagery I get is this like a little bit flat knockoff cola soda thing that's been sitting out for a while, that maybe has like a slice or two of like citrus in it, like maybe a slice of lemon and a slice of orange. Again, not bad by any means, but I think it's a little bit too sweet for my taste. And I like sweet scents, by the way. I really do. So I mentioned that the opening is good, and the opening is good. I think it's a wow factor. Every time I spray this, I'm like, wow, this is so interesting. I really like this scent. It's really fun. But what happens is that there is no real mid to this scent. And similarly to Amore Cafe, the mid is basically the transition between the opening and the dry down. And similarly, again, to Amore Cafe, the dry down is straight up vanilla. It's straight up this like tonka bean, vanilla, benzoin, ambery, super hyper sweet. And it's kind of like one note. It's really just like one note. Amore Cafe, at least it has that kind of like burnt sugar vibe that kind of offsets the sweetness. This is really, really one note, and I think it's super boring. And the mid is supposed to have some sort of a patchouli in it or like other stuff. I don't really pick up on that much, just because the sweetness is so overpowering in this. It really hides everything. And this, similarly to Amore Cafe, has nuclear performance. This thing lasts forever, basically forever. And it lasts a lot on my skin. It really starts pumping when you get a little bit hot. So I wore this to the gym, and it was just really, really pumping off my skin, just radiating like crazy. It was almost too much. It was cloying, and I had it on my arms. I didn't even have it on my neck, and it was just like way too much. and it just like stays there forever, and it's just like this vanilla. It's just completely overpowering. So to me, this is it's a very fatiguing flavor. I like the opening, I like every time I spray it, but then I kind of regret having it. I kind of regret spraying it just because I have to literally wash it off. And if this would last less, I think it would be better. I get it. I mean, again, we're not complaining about performance. It's actually hard to achieve, so I don't want a weaker version of this, but a weaker version would serve probably a better purpose, meaning that it's since it's a party trick, since it's a party scent, in a weaker version, like you don't want to carry this thing all day. Or if you do, props to you. I think that it's kind of just boring, like in the dry down. It's just one note, and it's like having the same song on repeat over and over and over and over, and you're like, well, this is great, but then it's like after like 4 hours, you're like, enough of this. And on clothes, as I mentioned, similarly to Amor Café, this thing never goes away, like never. You have to wash clothes, and it's so long lasting that if you spray it on like a shirt or a hoodie or something that you don't specifically want to wash right away, you can't wear that piece of clothing anymore with any other fragrance because this thing is still there and it doesn't really mix with anything. And it's just super, super strong. As I mentioned, Mancera has a little bit of a cartoonish vibe to their scents, and they're kind of like just like over characterized. I like that each scent has like something, it has a character. They have an identity, not a brand identity, but each scent is like, you know what you're getting. Well, rather, the scents that are known have a very clear identity. So for example, with Tonka Cola, there's like, you know what you're getting. That's what you get, and it's very easy. But it is a little bit childish, specifically this one here. I can't really see a lot of people just wearing this a lot. Even something, seriously, even something like Pink Sugar from Aquarina, I think it's more complex than this. At least that has some offset, you know? If you like licorice, that licorice note balances out that like extreme sweetness. Here in the dry down, there's nothing to balance it out. I think this would have been a killer scent if they really toned down the sweetness like a couple notches. It would have been so much more complex, so much more interesting, so much more easy to wear and versatile, a lot more adult, and just overall better in my opinion. So who is this for? I think that the fun scent nature of this makes it an occasional use. I don't see this as a signature scent at all. It's just way too much. But as a fun scent to pull out every now and then, like maybe in the evening, maybe to go to sleep, maybe at a party, if you want to get noticed, this is the one. It's okay. Would I purchase it again? No, I would not. I would not purchase it again. Will I be keeping it? I'm not super sure. I like the idea of it, but I don't really enjoy wearing it after 4 hours. After like 3 hours, I'm like, I'm done with this. So I don't know. I wore this a lot initially just because I was so interested in the opening and I wanted really to give it a chance, but I just can't commit to this enough. And even other super strong scents that I have, at least they transition more. Like the Orto Parisi line, they're super long lasting, but they're way more subtle than this. As crazy as it sounds, they're way more subtle than this. This is just very, very distracting to me. So I kind of like got to the conclusion that this is really not for me after like 3 full wears. And every now and then I just put it on to go to the gym or to go outside like for a walk. But I know that probably I usually wear it in situations where I know that after that I'll shower and I'll wash my clothes. If you have any other recommendations for Mancera other than the usuals, something that's different and unique, I'm happy to try it. I really want to like the brand, and I do like the brand. I just wish they had a little bit more character going on, a little bit more personality per se. But yeah, another one down. Thanks again for the comments. I do super appreciate every kind of interaction that you send my way. It's super fun. I love doing this. I think I'm in it for the long run, at least for the foreseeable future. I mean, I have a ton of fragrances to go through, and I will be covering them all, just because it's kind of like my rule now. If I buy something, I'm gonna shoot a video of it eventually. Once again, thanks for watching. Thanks for all the support, and cheers. See you next time.